Initializing caution files. Please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Battle control initialized.
What up, commanders, and welcome back to another YouTube cast for OpenRA. This time we have something special prepared for you guys. We have a best of 7 between none other than Mr. Cav, returning once again to play in RAGL Season 11. And his opponent today is none other than Stitch. Stitch is not competing in RAGL Season 11, but she's regardless a very solid player to be sure. So this is going to be interesting as well. It has been sent to me by Stitch herself, and I'm kind of excited to cast this. We're playing on The Great Divide, which was a RAGL Season 5 map, if I am not mistaken, made by So Scared. But now it is back once again to be part of the legacy maps for the RAGL Season 11 pool. So this should be very spicy. Let me just set this up a little bit better. Oh, Great Divide. One with a forward command post, which is, to be honest, something that I don't see that often. A forward command post on a 1v1 map. Usually they are there for 2v2s or 3v3 maps mainly. I can't think off my head that there is another 1v1 map with a command post. Or like a forward command. But regardless, Cav here. Going for double ref, it seems. Not going to be aggressive. There's no reason to. All of the objectives are on his side. We've got 2 oils in the bottom with a hospital. That is a bit more easier to get for allies players, considering they have access to the Chinook. But it seems like Stitch is going to invest in a double engineer straight away. And maybe that is just better. Like, I know this was brought up that it's easier to get this for Soviet, for allies, because they have access to the Chinook and they don't necessarily have to repair the bridge. But by the time you get Radar Dome, and especially in this meta, Radar Dome isn't that seen that often anymore. I don't know, is it worth it leaving so much cash in the early stage of the game? I don't think so. I think it's actually a good investment going for this engineer to repair the bridge. But yeah, Cav is back, participating in RAGL Season 11 in the Masters League. So definitely looking forward to that. We might be seeing Cav versus Goat, which is a matchup that a lot of players have been wanting to see. But as far as I know, Goat did sign up, but it's not sure yet if he's going to have time. So let's hope that that is going to happen regardless. Cav selling the ref, and he's going to put his war factory next to the command post. Interesting. It's going to be a little bit more distance for his harvesters to get to the patches. Yeah, it's interesting. You get access to 4 mines without needing an MCP. So this map is interesting for sure, to say the least. Stitch has the 2 oils, and Cav is working on that as well. Cav opted for a light tank. Stitch is going to go for those extra Raxes before SD. So yep, we're going to see double light vehicles as well. It seems like she went for 2 harvesters into 2 light vehicles. It's a bit more greedier, but you know, works out on this map, and especially since both players are pretty passive, working on their ego, maybe egos as well, who knows. But yeah, gonna be a while before hell breaks loose, to be sure. We've got Stitch here going to check out what Cav is up to with the Ranger. But Cav only went for 1 light vehicle here. Very interesting map. So far I've heard that this map wasn't being picked a lot in Season 5. So let's hope it sees some more action in this season. And maybe it can also show me why it isn't picked that much, because I can't believe it's only for this reason in particular. Interesting move here from Stitch. Oh. Huh. Wow, she's going to isolate the engineer. The engineer is not allowed to come back to the mainland. This bridge has been taken out while the engineer was capping the hospital. He has been betrayed by his fellow comrades. See, I was looking for a bit if she was playing Soviets or not, but nope, she's just playing France. But regardless of all the jokes, it's not too bad destroying this bridge again, just to make sure that Cav cannot get it back unless he goes for a Chinook with an engineer. Cav is not going to bother with that, so let's see if it's gonna bite him in his ass later on in the game. Let's see if Stitch will go for the recapture here. Would be amazing, but it's not gonna be because of this engineer. At least he has a house. So I guess it's not all bad. Anyways, Cav is the first one to cross the border onto Stitch's territory with a pretty big force already, with 2 medium tanks leading the charge. It's going straight onto the expansion. Stitch's army is definitely out of position here. The damage will be done. MCV is going to unpack. Harvesters are going to fall. This Rev is probably going to fall as well. It's a big force already, while Stitch has been splitting off her army. So Cav here, being the aggressor, gets his main MCV on the other side as well to try and get a dominant position here on the other side. Cav already floating like a madman. That is very interesting. He's only on 5 axes. It's going for a second war factory here. Just pretty much standard. Very aggressive from Cav. Straight away. Not being punished by Stitch so far. Stitch was being a bit more passive. Curious to see how she will react though. Yep, well, it's good from Cav. They immediately realized that Stitch was aware that the Ranger spotted the tanks, and he's immediately going to back out and not lose any tanks. Doesn't want to lose any tanks. In the meantime, Stitch is going to try to harass on the other side, but Cav is ready. Has a small force sitting here. But Stitch is going to do the exact same thing that Cav did. It's going to go straight for this expansion here. But I don't think the damage will be as devastating as Cav. And Cav, in the meantime, is going to try his luck on the other side. Is he going to respond with retreating? Or is he not going to care and try to do some damage of his own? Decent amount of pillboxes here already. This has been the talk about. This is pretty much the recent topic. Static defenses, especially pillboxes in particular, being a bit too strong. Slightly turn the audio up here. Alright, well, Cav wanted to go for that, but he saw the walls of pillboxes and he's like, nope, I'm out. Stitch tried to retaliate, but it's not going to work. In the meantime, this party from Cav has arrived in the main base, and he wants to try to find some key structures, preferably a war factory or an SD, but Stitch is there. Did kill a harvester, so but he might lose some of his forces here, so I'm not entirely sure it's going to be worth. In the meantime, holy shit, Cav is going to try and retaliate. Seems like he caught Stitch in a pretty poorly position here. Concave from Cav is really nice, and the quantity as well. Cav is gonna come out on top in this engagement. Looking at engagements combat-wise, army values are still very, very close. Stitch, in the meantime, has been doing damage with this small army still. Cav has not responded to this, which is interesting. I can't imagine that he did not see this. He probably thought it was not going to be a big of a deal. But his structures are falling, especially his eco is being collapsing. Thanks for the color difference here, guys. Very nice on a map like this. Alright, Cav still lingering around here with the same army. Sees the radar dome. Not sure where he's going with that. Probably to get some more eco. Very focused on harvesters in this case. In the meantime, Stitch still makes it out alive. This main army from Cav just went through the middle and is trying to get more harvesters. But he has to be careful though, because fighting inside someone's base is definitely not the answer most of the time, just because of the vision disadvantage that you're facing. This is Cav's vision right now, and this is Stitch's vision. So the attack range is going to be a huge difference. And I feel like Cav might lose his entire army here. He did kill the Raider Dome off. But at what cost? He lost that entire army pretty much for just a Raider Dome and a couple of Harvesters. Talking about Harvesters, this is a pretty intense game so far. We have 7 Harvesters for Cav and 6 for Stitch. Meanwhile, Stitch is gonna move on with this small harassment army. He's gonna go wreak some more havoc in this expansion over here, getting more eco. Both players flowing quite a bit here. Ooh, Blackhawks also not being micro here. We're shooting at the medium tanks. Probably try and get the Blackhawks to do the same thing as the pillboxes. Snipe the rocket soldiers. Right, things has slowed down a little bit here. She's gonna try her luck here in the middle. Very even matches so far. Both players on Raider Dome at the moment, but Cav seems to be going a bit more Blackhawk heavy compared to Stitch, who also lost her Raider Dome, so yeah. Oh wow, a lonesome soldier in the woods got raped by tanks. Yikes. Very action-packed so far. Still pretty close as well. Have chilling here. Lost most of his main base, so I'm assuming he's gonna send over the main MCV. Yep, get some new refs up there on that double mine patch. Jeff's using his Blackhawks pretty well here. Stitch has a new Raider Dome out. Not seeing any helipads so far from Stitch. It seems like she's not even going to bother with those. Two sneaky tanks here, gonna try and harass some more in the meantime while Cav is busy on killing more static defenses and refineries from Stitch. Okay, 2 tanks are over here. Wow. Alright. More tanks being picked off for free. In the meantime, Cav is just working on killing that wall of defenses. Very chaotic so far. There's a lot of stuff going on in different places. Cav in the meantime is reinforcing over here. I'm assuming he's going to go for a mass assault onto the main base because he knows most of the activity from Stitch, or the focus has been on this expansion. Mainly because she's being harassed by these artilleries. So it's actually not a bad move from Cav. But yeah, Stitch is dropping low in terms of eco. And it's mainly because Cav has been able to take this expansion early on into the game, which is supposedly from Stitch. Nice artillery barrage here onto the infantry. Yep, Cav is like, nope, this is not gonna work out. Was a very good engagement for Stitch there. But she's struggling in terms of eco. She cannot keep up with this production. Jeff still has a decent army. He's gonna send over his Blackhawks to this side just to get the extra vision advantage and help to kill these arties. I don't see any AA guns yet from Stitch. He also doesn't have one ready to go. It's all pillboxes from here on out. In the meantime, Cav is definitely putting up the pressure with these arties on the other side. Gets the arties with the Blackhawks, all of them, so now this army has free reign of entering this domain. should be able to take out this expansion, which is pretty fresh. Stitch was working on that, but it's going to be taken away. This Blackhawk is going to jiggle over to Cav's army, and then decides not to. Stitch has to get out. Nice awareness with the harvesters, going to send the harvesters out just to not lose them. And yeah, now it's getting really tough because there's a 12k difference in army value, so Cav just has the opportunity to split off more and more and put on pressure in different locations. See if she can be everywhere at once, obviously. And you can surely see how that is affecting her. GG has been called, well played, and the first game is going to go to... Okay. to Cav.
Terminated.
Pretty intense game to be the first game, but hey, that is to be expected from players like this. Let's go straight into the second game, which is played on Scorched Earth, also RGL 11 map. Was in the top 5 of the map making contest and is made by none other than Mr. Megatank. Ah, lovely, another color. So once again, we got an allied mirror between Cav and Stitch. Cav starting in the bottom right with his preferred brown color, and Stitch this time playing with the purple color. Let me get this wristing, because my wrists have been killing me today. Also, it makes me look cool. It's like a gamer wrist support, you know? For gamers by gamers. All that's missing is like my glass, like for gamers by gamers. You know how it is, like. High five, nerds. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. Alright, wow, already getting some small action. Obviously we got some oils on this map, so there's going to be a lot more early game action, which I won't say no to, because I'm a big fan of the early game in this game. Like to play my, well, pretty much chess with just rifles and stuff. I feel like early game engagement, especially if you only have riflemen, are probably where most of the micro is coming into play, where concaves are really important, positioning is really important, yada yada yada, all of that stuff. Obviously it's also important in mid to late game, but you know, you have less units to work with, so sometimes we get to see some creativity. Stitch didn't want to go in there. Obviously defender's advantage. Cav had some nice concave setup on both sides, and both players will get their respective oils. Meanwhile, Stitch is gonna go and get the hospital, and she might be in a good position to do so if she... Oh, yep. Cav going in. And on the left side, it's not ending well. He's trying to go for the engineer, but he can't see the engineer yet. I'm assuming he can now. He's gonna try and kill it. Yep. But the hospital has been... Okay, this wrist support sucks. Never mind, bad idea. But the hospital has been captured, which means vision advantage for Stitch, and Cav has to get out of here. So pretty much, I guess, early game coin to Stitch so far. Has that extra hospital. Potentially could... Wow, that's a lot of early rockets. A lot of early rockets. 6 of them? Yep, 6 of them. Interesting. Hospital is going to be taken out. Much for free, nice nice initiative from Cav. Was just sending in the light tank, didn't see anything, not sure why Stitch didn't want to protect that. Maybe she was afraid to that there were some army over here, but you know. I usually like do that as well, like sometimes I think there's gonna be like an early flank or something like that, or maybe someone wants to be involved. Like this army can do damage. So it's not that weird that you want to keep it in like in the middle to be able to react to this side or this side. But unfortunately, because of that, Hospital will be taken out. Alright. Let's have a look at the eco in the meantime. Both players on 5 harvesters already. Once again, I think Stitch went for 2 extra Raxes before SD. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, it has to be. Let's have a look at the MCV production. Oh yeah, for sure. She went for 2 Raxes before SD. Hence the delayed MCV. But definitely not a bad thing. It just allows you to get some faster infantry production than your opponent at the cost of a later expansion. Looking at this map more and more, there are a lot of people saying that this map looks kind of similar to Annihilate, and I think I'm starting to see why. Especially also in terms of like where people are usually going to expand. Stitch here now taking the initiative, going to take out the oil. I like it. Alright, Ranger danger on the other side. Cav is going in. Ooh, would have loved to see that barrel being sniped. Cav is being baited though because Stitch did not reveal all of her units when she was killing the oil, which is probably the reason why she wanted to bait. The medium tank goes down. Actually, yes, Stitch could go in now. She does not want to. Doesn't want to take the risk. I mean, the light tank could have been deleted pretty fast, but just that extra vision advantage could have helped her in taking out more army. She's gonna try and use the Ranger? Nope, she's a little bit undecisive, not sure what to do. She's gonna use the Ranger to scout around, see where that army is. Interesting. I was actually considering that she was going to go... She could have went for that expansion early on. She knows where the army is from Cav in the meantime. She can still use the Ranger to do so. I like this lonely pillbox from Stitch. Worked out. There she's using the Ranger nicely. Actually, she could sandwich this army right now. Cav could be in a very tough position here. There's 3 medium tanks for Stitch as well. And the infantry is a little bit falling behind, so this could actually end not too great. 2 medium tanks already dying. And the 3rd medium tank is going for crushes. Oh, dear God. Luckily, the Ranger from the other side is going to provide some vision, but it's not going to matter. Oh, ooh. This went very poorly, unfortunately, but still, Stitch had a decent lead, and she's still going to maintain that lead with a measly 3k army value, considering like 5 to 6k a few seconds ago. Wow. Very surprising. I was actually considering that would have turned out really well for Stitch. But yeah, the infantry was falling behind a little bit, and the tank micro wasn't on point, which is what caused her to take such great losses in that engagement. Stitch knows Cav is smart. Sometimes you can just kill a scout. Like depending on who I play, you can kill a scout and just be like, yeah, I'll just go for this. You know, like he probably didn't even see it. But not with Cav, and Stitch knows. She retreated immediately after her army got scouted, and she's right because there was an army heading towards that direction. Meantime, Cav takes out the oil as well, once again with an aggressive position with the MCV, and 3 Raxes. He's on max productions, going for a radar dome this time instead of a double or a second war factory. Now Cav is going for that flank. Same sneaky flank, no scouts from Stitch anywhere to be found, so this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt for sure. If you look at Stitch doesn't have that many scouts set up actually. Compared to what, well, compared to what Cav can see. Cav has some rifles set up everywhere, as you can see. So that is going to hurt. Harvesters are retreating, but the damage is going to be done. The refinery is going to go down. This MCV might take some damage. Cav is not going to take any risks here. He's going to move out. Took out the ref, he's happy with that, and he should be. Like, this is a pretty good engagement. Took out the refinery for free, literally. Stitch now aware though, but once again, Cav can just chill. He's going for 3 helipads once again. He really likes those Black Hawks. In comparison to Stitch, especially last game. Positioning yet again could be rough, but nope. Stitch is going to recuperate pretty well here. Tanks in front, and this army from Cav is going to disappear.
Perhaps you need another shot.
And Blackhawks are pretty strong in this mirror match. There's no flak trucks from Soviets to be found anywhere. The only decent anti-air is either rocket soldiers or AA guns. But, you know, as you can see over there, rocket soldiers aren't the best to deal with Blackhawks. Oh wait, did he move? Oh wow, he moved the scout on accident. Probably, I don't know what he did. Probably like mass selecting the rifles or something like that. But because of that, that army from Stitch got by unseen. And now his infantry is getting shreked by these pillboxes. Oh, wow. Really back and forth here so far. Wow, there's a lonely arty there just going for the pillboxes. In the meantime, Stitch's army has arrived at the expansion as well. Takes out the harvesters and the refinery. And just because of that, scouts that he replaced or moved away from that position on accident. Meanwhile, we have Radar Dome for Stitch as well. Once again, Cav is going to take the lead in terms of army value. Lots of pillboxes there yet again, but they're not being microed. And once again, Cav is taking that aggressive position, but Stitch aware and knows that the army from Cav is mostly on the right side, so she's going to take this expansion that should technically belong to her. This expansion has been taken out, and it seems like this army is going to be cleaned up by Cav eventually. Meanwhile, this army is still wreaking havoc. Going straight to the other expansion. Stitch already knows this, moving away the harvesters. This is rough, very rough. Lots of times Stitch is trying to be the reactor in this game, trying to defend, but as you can see, it's rough, man, doing that. It is very rough, taking the initiative sometimes, well, most of the time. They always say offense is the best defense. Meanwhile, tanks are going to try and harass, but Cav is here with all those rocket soldiers, and in the meantime, Cav is maybe being surrounded, who knows? He should have a decent enough army to work his way back out. With some losses, obviously, but should be good. Better than to face that army. Both players definitely have taken some blows. Meanwhile, Cav is gonna restore his expansion on the left side. And Stitch is smelling blood. She's still chasing this army. Blackhawks are coming in yet again. Getting some more rocket soldiers. But yeah, this is what I mean. Definitely not a good trade there. It's not the first time that happens. Ooh, wow. Very unfortunate for Cav here. This is gonna be a tough battle for Stitch. She's being completely surrounded from every angle. This army is a goner. Another Blackhawk going down though. Oh wow. This army is going to do some damage. Possibly could take the MCV as well, but now how is Stitch going to stop this? Both players taking very interesting decisions, but it seems like so far Cav is going to come out on top in this match. Who knows? This could still be good. Stitch could do some damage. This is a big infantry block. Could still do some damage with these arties. First shot is gonna land, and it's a direct bullseye. In the meantime, Stitch has been doing the damage, killed the refineries and the harvesters, missed the MCV it seems. Ooh, RT's not being microed. Now they are. Alright. Well, not the best engagement for Cav there. Stitch traded very well with those two RTs. Still, MCV is still alive. That army from Stitch got cleaned up. And both players under 10k army value right now. The MCV is going to die off. Is he going to kill the Husk? Not gonna kill the Husk. Is she going to go for a mechanic? So far, no. Alright, ooh, that's a good medium tank harass there. Immediately 3 harvesters not being able to work for a while. Meanwhile, Cav's gonna take out this refinery again. It's a very good refinery for Cav to take out. No MCV in that area. It's gonna take some time and effort to get a new refinery up and running over there. Meantime, Cav is just working on fixing his eco as fast as he can. Let's have a look at the eco in the meantime. Got Stitch floating 3k, both players are on 5k income. Stitch still on 11 harvester. I do have to say, Stitch has been doing a better job at just preserving her harvesters, sending them away before the army from Cav can get to it. But that might turn things around. But obviously you also need revs and ore. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking... I should call a bug exterminator. I don't think there's been any YouTube cast where I didn't see a freaking bug. And I'm not talking about the guy that makes the ladder. Oh, Stitch was ready this time. Still doesn't take the best engagement since she was on attack move as well. But cleans that up. And Stitch taking the lead for the first time in this game, I believe, in terms of army value. What the... Ah, there we go. Oof! RT versus medium tank. Oof! Don't want to see that. You know, Stitch should probably take this expansion back again. She still has the power plant and the pillbox sitting up here. She has the vision. Actually surprised by the lack of scouts in these crucial flanks. He's working on it on the left side, which I really like. Can't stress this enough, especially in OpenRA, how important this is. Now, yet again, Stitch is wanting to work on that expansion, and just the moment she deploys the MCV, the army from Cav is here. But nice awareness from Stitch yet again. She knows where the army from Cav is. His main army. Cav is deadballing a little bit more than she is. Surprised she's backing off from this. Let's see how it's going on the other side. Deploy the pillbox at the very last moment. I like the fact that she's not running entirely away, but this army will be killed off quite effectively. Maybe so will this MC. Once again, another sneaky medium tank in the back lines. Excuse me, in the eco lines, I should say. Already harvester going down, and this MCV for the second time goes down. Not even a husk spawn, just completely eliminated from existence. This is gonna take that expansion away from Cav. Cav is gonna take this refinery away. Well, it's really going back and forth, but the army value is online. Oof, this RT though could get some nice value. Oh my god. Cav does not care. He will get the RT, but man, at what cost? That RT traded very effectively and was still alive. Yeah, smart choice. Smart choice, just sending in the harvester back just to make that army shoot at it so the rifles from Stitch could catch up and finish them off. So wow, really back and forth, and all of a sudden, we're pretty much back to square one. 19 minutes into this game. Still very close army values. Look at the destroyed lost step as well. Very, very close to each other. Yeah, floating 5k though. His eco has been looking significantly better throughout this game. Those sneaky medium tanks from Cav finding their way through. Kill the harvester on this side, and seems like it might get another one here. She tries to save it onto the SD. Should be able to. But look at that. SD's being damaged as well. Oh, that's where our focus is at right now. But this army is going to be killed off by the Blackhawks. Nice defense from Cav. Yeah, Cav realized he can't kill the harvester. That was pretty good. Medium tank definitely worked it. And Stitch is getting low on eco. Another medium tank here on the other side as well. Definitely the pressure is onto Stitch. This medium tank is gonna get another harvester on the right side. A decent kill already inside his harvester belly. Yep, loses the last medium tank she had, and now Cav is just going in with his mass medium tanks. Preserving of tanks so far is on point for Cav. That might do it. Yep, the second MCV, or like the third MCV that she produced, was going to go down. Stitch calls the GG, and Cav is up 2-0. Really back and forward game so far. Stitch is definitely playing well. I'm very impressed. Really nice to see quality games like these. And let's go straight into the third game.
Battle control terminated. Battle control.
All right, game number 3. Excuse me, but I had to get some beverages because these matches have been insane. All right. So we're going on to game number 3, played on Monopoly, made by Lad. Also in the top 5 of the map making contest. I think this one was tied with first place, if I recall correctly. But I like this map. Really interesting. I like the fact that it, well, you know, seems like it's floating in space, which obviously has not been corrupted by capitalism. It only works if you say it like that. It's the only way I can pronounce it. No way to pronounce it normally. All right. The only difference is this time Cav is playing Ukraine. But yeah, Stitch definitely performing very well, but you know, it's no surprise. Cav is very strong. And I'm not sure if people remember, I used to have a very good game against Cav as well, which I threw like a motherfucker. Could have actually won, but you know, Stitch could have won both those games as well, and she did not, so I guess it doesn't mean that much. But you know, still proud about that fact. Regardless. See what Stitch has in mind this time. She's going for War Factory first, which I kinda... well, I can kind of see why. It's a very big map. Cav is gonna go for double ref. There's not that many oils. There's only 2 oils on this map. Oh. Sold the racks. Puts the rifles in a very interesting position. Is she maybe considering the bait Cav? If he doesn't see a Rax, he might be like, oh man, I'm gonna go in. And then boom, out of nowhere, rifles coming at you. We'll see. Which is interesting. Does that mean she's not going to go for the oil? I'm assuming Cav wants to take. But you know, maybe Cav will feel overconfident thinking that there's no racks. Just like I said, no racks means no static defenses either. So, you know. Yeah, see? Stitch is like, okay, that must have been the scout. Now she's gonna build a Rex. Deal with that and possibly go for an engineer as well, I'm assuming. Maybe not. She's gonna try and snipe the engineers. There's a big possibility here, for sure. APC for Cav. Nothing inside. Rockets are a little bit on the late side because of this build. Very greedy build. But here are the rockets. Rockets are being sniped. Not sure with this decision to try and scatter, but you know, damage has been done. The APC can't do anything else. But Cav has managed to get the second oil as well. Very interesting. Wonder if she's still going to go for an engineer because, you know, big map, oils are really far apart. Could potentially just sneak in, drop off the engineer and get it and make it safely back. Previous Cav is going to alter his build. No, doesn't seem like it. You can see that he's already floating a little bit, which is, you know, he has the 2 oils. So I always try to say this to people: if you have 2 oils, you're gonna get some more eco. So I don't know, just get in an extra racks or something like that, just to make sure that you can spend that extra money and get the actual advantage out of the money without it just sitting in your bank account. Alright. Scout from Cav is working out. It's always nice to put scouts on ore patches so that you know where the opponent is expanding towards. Oh. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. First heavy tank is gonna go over there. It's getting scouted by Stitch, but the heavy tank is going to be able to deal some damage. Maybe. Harvesters are being retreated straight away, at least one is. Pretty good idea from Cav, to be honest. Because, you know, just a singular heavy tank is causing some troubles for Stitch already in terms of army position. Oof. But talking about army position, this could also end bad. This pillbox is going to get some value. The tanks and the APCs were not in a good position to start with. Don't think Cav expected for Stitch to be this close. Once again, a little bit lack of scouting from Stitch. We've got one scout over here. If you look at Cav, Cav has some riflemen. Oh, these are from Stitch, but you know. Actually, lack of scouting. Well, I mean, he has all the scouts on his ore patches. He knows exactly where Stitch has expanded to. You can see what he already has discovered in terms of expansions. And if you look at Stitch, it's absolutely not the case at all. So keep this in mind. Scouts are very important. I would never use scouts early on in the game. I set up scouts or riflemen the moment you can spam production. So like 4 to 5 harvesters. That seems like an ideal time to be. Maybe a little bit even before that, but definitely not sooner than that. Alright, well, Stitch has found her way through onto the main base. Seems like the scouts from Cav weren't preventing that. and the damage is going to be done. The SD is gonna fall. This entire main base is gonna fall. Is Cav going to retaliate in some way? His attack on the expansion is definitely not going to work out, so he's probably gonna try his luck onto the main base as well. But Stitch knows she didn't see the army anymore onto this expansion. Meanwhile, she's gonna have some troubles with defending this, but like I said, it's always better to give up an expansion than your entire main base. MCV will be kept alive. There's still a ton of pillboxes here to deny the infantry. Yep, exactly. In the meantime, the damage is going to be done as well, unfortunately. This is first harvester going down. Yikes. I thought she was going to be aware, and I thought she kind of was, but maybe she wasn't expecting that big of an army. It should be cleaned up in the end. Yep, just gonna probably take out this last power plant and then that army should die. In the meantime, Stitch has arrived onto this expansion that just killed the main army. She splitted it off as well, trying to harass some more harvesters here. But Cav has a small army sitting there with a flame tower ready. That army should be no issue to be taken down. But this one, on the other hand, is going to be an issue. This expansion is gonna fall as well. That's a very juicy double mine patch for Cav to lose. Wow, this army is still alive, surprisingly enough. But now it's gonna go down. So let's have a look at the combat tab in the meantime. Still very, very, very close. Stitch has been trading really, really well. And Cav is starting to go for mass APCs, considering the fact he lost his SD and his war factory for quite some time, and he just lost the MCV as well. Yeah, it's really hard to get away from medium tanks as an MCV. Now the retaliation onto the expansion yet again. Both of these players are just constantly trading back and forth. Cav should have enough to deal with this, I feel. Both players floating quite a bit of cash. 10k for Stitch and 5k for Cav. MCs might be going for some crushes here. Yep, it's exactly what they're doing. But only one got a pretty decent trade. And Cav this time is going to call the GG. And yeah, that destruction of the main base was very crucial for Stitch. And Stitch taking the first game off of Cav. It is now 2-1, and we're going straight into game number 4.
Battle control terminated. Battle control initialized.
Alright, game number 4 between these two godlike players. Cav versus Stitch. We're playing on Spearhead. This one is very interesting because this is a 1v1 map that has multiple spawn locations. So you can randomly spawn in one of these 4 locations, and it just decided to spawn right next to each other. Let's see how this is going to turn out. We've got 2 oils in the corners and 2 oils in the middle, which looks like spears. That's why it's called Spearhead. Get it? Stitch is gonna be like, oh wow, he's here. Okay, so that means we just spawn next to each other. Great. Like, there's no other way that Cav would be so fast to this oil, just like she is. Fun fact, I think the first time I played on this map was when it just came out against Blackened, when it was in its early testing phases. And Blackened spawned over here and I spawned over here, and I just all-in him. It was probably the longest all-in that I did in my life, but eventually it worked out. Oh. Trying to see what Stitch is trying to achieve here. Big army from Cav. 24 rifles. Not working out for Stitch, unfortunately. Cav is gonna waltz through and at least claim this oil for himself. Stitch is gonna try and, gonna try and run it out and get the engineer. There is already an engineer on the field, obviously, but still over here chilling. A little bit on the late side. Nice awareness from Cav. He's gonna try and find the engineer, but unfortunately, the engineer will barely escape the jaws of death. Meantime, Cav is gonna check this oil as well. Oh, shoot the barrel! Oh. Wouldn't have done that much damage, but you know. That means Cav is going to be on 4 oils. Oh wow, he moved out the main MCV after this. This is starting to look like more like TD. Yeah, I don't actually disagree with his with this, to be honest. It's gonna allow you to just produce more tanks or more harvesters in this situation. Still on 3. But you know, the distance is not that far and gives you access to 2 extra mines, so yeah. Not a bad idea. On the other hand though, I mean, Cav is ahead in terms of army, I feel like. No, not a... Oh, interesting. Wait. He didn't go for the light vehicle. I mean, he has slowed down his eco just a little bit there. Because he's sitting on 1 refinery. But on the other hand, he won't be able to place static defenses down here, except only next to the power plant. Wish that got scouted. That would have been awesome if that got scouted. Oh, that is very risky, sending the engineer like that. I know Cav is not a fan of like keeping riflemen there. Haven't seen him do that at all. But that engineer is gonna be sniped. Here comes the attack from Cav. Light tank has been lost. Unfortunately, most of the army from Stitch wasn't there either. But Stitch is on 4 oils though, so already on 4 axes, as you can see. So this is what I was talking about in terms of using that advantage to your own. And as you can see, Stitch is already floating a lot less than Cav because of just those Raxes. So it's gonna allow her to get a lot faster infantry production as well. Should be able to get faster army values out as well, because Cav is only on 2 Raxes so far. So this might bite him later on, but we'll see. We'll see. Stitch is gonna be on max production really fast after this. Yep, there's the 7 Rax. Medium tanks are not in a good position, but when they get in a good position, this might be crucial. Yep. No medium tanks or heavy tanks to be found from Cav yet. That means that this engagement is definitely going to be in Stitch's favor. Ranger's gonna clean up, make sure these oils are still alive. And yeah, just look how fast that Stitch is just reproducing this. Now she's gonna go onto the expansion, she's gonna find the expansion, and there's not much that Cav can do about this. Going to go for the MCV, and I like this. This is what I like to do as well, using the rifles to fight the other rifles. In the meantime, the rockets and the medium tanks will do the damage. Nicely done. She will lose this army, but if she can take out the expansion, and this is nice. She knew that Cav didn't have that much army. She's sending in the remaining of her army to deal with the main base. Should be able to get the war factory. Once again, rifles are gonna do the dirty work, and And the rockets are gonna clean up this war factory. Wow. Wants to go for DSD as well, but that is not going to work out. Did she over-invest? I've just managed to defend this with this one army. And once again, sneaky heavy tank in the back lines is dealing mass damage to this harvester. This harvester is gonna go down for sure. Yep. Come on, game, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Of course. Commentator's curse. Commentator's curse right there. Never ever take my word for it, because the opposite is going to happen. Yeah. Pretty insane actually. Threw away a lot of army there killing the MCV, threw away all of her army dealing with the war factory. And now Cav obviously is sitting on a lot more axes, so now every engagement that goes bad for Stitch is going to be hard to recuperate from. Oils are being taken care of. Meantime, Stitch is going to try and deal some damage to the eco. Talking about eco, I was about to say Stitch has to expand pretty soon as well. Heavy tank is already checking out this position, but it hasn't been taken yet. In the meantime, it's nice from Stitch as well. She just decided to move further on. But this army is not going to do that much damage. There's only a medium tank and one rocket that is going to harass these harvesters, so it is not gonna matter that much. Oh wow, no waypoint. I like this a lot more. She's probably gonna lose the army because Cav is sending over reinforcements, and because of the vision of the oil, this is gonna be pretty bad. Very unfortunate. She could have had this very early on. Ooh, throwing away more medium tanks. She's gonna try and go for the crushes, but the immediate scatter command from Cav is going to prevent that from happening. Meantime, a little bit of Cav's army is getting caught off guard here. That will be taken care of very efficiently. And is Stitch feeling confident now? Rocket soldiers are shooting at her medium tanks without the support from most of the rifles. Medium tank goes down, but still using the vision advantage really nicely here. But she's going to retreat regardless. Pretty big army. Oh wow, heavy tank kills off one of the oils. Definitely worth already. That harvester might die. I said might this time because, you know, never sure. Anyways, this game is still pretty close. Got pretty stale as well, so we're seeing Radar Dome being made by Stitch and RTs and a helipad this time. In the meantime, Cav's MCV, Cav is doing a Bane MCV just right here, gets immediately caught off, which is strange because he knew that army was here. Probably didn't expect Stitch to move further out, but she did, and he got punished for it. Lost all of this army in the bottom as well, so now that means Cav is like, alright, let's try my luck over here. She can't be everywhere at once, but this RT once again shrieking in the middle of this infantry, and Cav is pushing, but this RT, man, holy shit, sometimes I don't really know why he's doing that. And he calls the GG just like that. Stitch made the equalizer. It is now 2-2, and we are moving on to game number 5.
Battle control terminated.